gods protect us.
Four claws, two wings, one venomous tail, and countless of razor-sharp teeth. The Manticore is a challenge to anyone who dares to face it, even the Witchers. Many who have hunted this beast perished in their attempts, for a Manticore has many tools of death at its disposal. The claws on each of its paws never stop growing. To maintain them, just like many wild beasts, they have to file them down on trees and rocks. As a result of this, they are very, and I really mean very sharp. Combining this with the strength in its legs results in that almost no armor is able to hold up to its blows. If you manage to evade the claws, you still have to deal with the tail and the teeth. The tail itself upon impact can pack quite the punch, but the dangers are all in the stinger. The stinger is dripped in venom. If this venom enters your body, you are as good as dead, almost instantly. Except if you are a Witcher. They can deal with the venom for a bit longer, but they do need help to survive, as Witcher potions are often not enough. Instead, they will have to call for the aid of a sorcerer or sorceress. With a bit of luck, the Witcher will be able to survive getting stung by the Manticore. A Manticore's bite is horrific. They can, without effort, tear off the head of a fully armored knight. But its bite has limited range. Or so you might think. For with its bat wings, this monster has on its back, it is able to lunge and fly. This makes the Manticore a very fast opponent to deal with. Or, how Eskel puts it,
quick son of a bitch, that one.
Eskel said he had killed one in a forest near Craden. This does seem like an ideal territory for these beasts. Manticores tend to live in isolated places, making their lairs in caves far away from humans. But it can happen that one makes his way towards land inhabited by humans, as has happened a few times in the books and in the games. When this happens, a Manticore can kill up to 20 people each month, making it a threat that should be dealt with.
A whole village? Just one big grave now? Not a scrap. Nothing to bury. Blood's all that's left behind.
Manticores have often been discussed by professors at the Oxenford Academy, who from time to time refer to them as Manticores. There was one professor who even claimed that Manticores were evidence that the gods were not righteous and benevolent. A few witch hunters were so angry with him because he said that they burned him on a pyre. There are a few types of Manticores that we know of. With that, I mean two: normal Manticores and Imperial Manticores. I don't know what the difference is, but after all, I'm no Witcher. So I guess it's probably just something with the color and maybe the size. In the Time of Contempt, there is a Manticore that had attacked a knight on the road near Dorian in Temeria. This monster had attacked a knight that was traveling on the road, and he had made very quick work of both the knight and his horse. Merchants and traders that were also traveling along the same road had to come to a halt. They didn't think that this would take long. However, the Manticore decided they would not leave. As they got tired of waiting, 3 dwarves from the merchant's guard decided that they would take on the beast. They were joined by 4 young men who were traveling to Carras to join the army. These 3 heavily armored dwarves were no match for the beast, and the 4 recruits fled almost right away. While waiting, some soldiers at some point arrived, but they never attacked this beast, and instead started ordering people around, and sent for a witcher, who had been seen in a nearby village. After a while, finally a solution presented himself. Geralt of Rivia. Geralt was willing to kill the beast for the coin, but the pay had to be right, asking for 200 Temerian crowns for the beast's head. The soldiers didn't want to pay him this amount, so the merchant came up with the gold, 100 crowns at first, but Geralt refused, as 100 was not enough. He told them that the Manticore would stay there all night, as the night he was feasting on was difficult to get the meat from, due to all the armor. The beast would also return, for it had expanded its territory to cover the road. The merchants were afraid that Geralt would leave, and instead made a deal with him for 150 crowns. And within 1 hour, the beast was slain, and the 2-kilometer long row of merchant wagons could start moving once again. Before I go over the Manticore of Lyria, let's talk about the size of this beast. How big is it actually? We never get precise measurements of its size, but it is said to be the size of a lion. A large lion, most likely. This does seem small when looking at the images, but the size of a lion refers to the size of its body, not including the height of its wings and the length of its tail. There are several images from the games that we have of Manticores, and 2 of them show the beast next to a horse's corpse. There is also one where it shows the foot of a soldier atop of the beast's head. You might think the beast was larger, but that effect mainly comes from the way everything is positioned, as it seems to be meant to create more of a feeling of a threat from the Manticore. As you can see that the beast has the high ground in every image it appears in.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
It is true that Manticores are considered rare, largely due to the locations they live in. I'll put a map on screen right now with markers that show the places that we know of where Manticores have appeared in The Witcher. You will see 4 dots on the screen. 2 of them were killed by Geralt, 1 by Eskel, and 1 was killed by Meve and Ache. Geralt has killed more Manticores than just these 2, as he talks about in the Sword of Destiny how he killed 1 Manticore while he was still a young Witcher. He most likely has killed more, but these are the only 3 that we know of. The one he hunted down most recently was just before the events in The Witcher 1. While chasing the Wild Hunt across the north, he encountered a Manticore in the Armush Mountains, between Sodden and Sintra.
I'm tired. February 24th, 1270. A high pass in the Armush Mountains. An Imperial Manticore, one of the world's oldest and deadliest monsters. I used to feel excitement at moments like this. Now the beast is only an obstacle on my way. Its meat and hot blood will help me survive this icy hell.
So Geralt basically used the Manticore as a tauntaun.
Hang on, kid. This may smell bad, kid. But it'll keep you warm.
Eskel mentioned that he had killed 1 in The Witcher 3.
Not lately. But about half a year back, I slew a Manticore in Creighton, in a forest. Quick son of a bitch, that one.
While the last one on the map, the one from Meve and Ache, is from Thronebreaker. A Manticore has made its lair nearby a village and wreaked havoc, around the time when Nilfgaard attacked Lyria and Rivia during the Second Northern War. In the game you can fight this beast, with the help of Sir Ache of Denel. When it comes to talking about Manticores, Ache is someone who has had his fair share of fights with them. In the more than 20 years that he has spent fighting monsters, he also killed a few Manticores, proving that humans can also beat this beast. But these were no small feats, as in the end, it was a Manticore that killed him, as is said by his son in The Witcher 1.
I confess my knowledge of monsters ends with the cockatrice. My late father, Ike of Danel, may he rest in peace, left me an engraving of the beast. There were many more engravings, but they were lost inside a Manticore's stomach. Only the cockatrice's image survived.
My sympathies. Did you hunt the Manticore too?
No, I wasn't at home at the time. When I returned, I discovered my father, despite his infirmity, had decided to fight the Manticore. He asked to be tied to a horse, and with a prayer, he charged the beast. As you can surmise, he met a tragic end.
When I reached the site of their struggle, the monster was in horrible pain, seconds from dying. When it could not dislodge my father from his armor, it nearly swallowed the old man whole. Later they would say the sacred fire in Ike's soul burnt the monster's heart.
A heroic death.
May he rest in peace.
Manticores, just like many other creatures and monsters from The Witcher, have their origin in real-life myths and legends. The one of the Manticores originated from Persia, and was, just like the Sphinx, very popular among Western artists in the medieval time. Depictions of this beast do however differ a bit between each other, as some are said to have venomous spines similar to porcupine quills, while others are depicted with a scorpion's tail that we also see in The Witcher. There are some differences between the Manticores from the old and the ones from The Witcher, but they mainly have to do with the changes that have been made in the last couple of decades. These include the face, which was supposed to be human-like, and the wings, which as far as I'm aware of were not present in any old drawings of the beast. Moving back to the rule of The Witcher again, in the games there is a school named after the Manticore. Looking at their armor and the stats it provides in-game gives some hints that this armor might be very suitable for fighting against the monsters the school was named after, as it raises maximum toxicity, which can help against Manticore's venom, increased the resistance to pierce and slash damage for the claws, teeth and the stinger, as well as more general resistance against monsters. Dealing with Manticores is a dangerous business, but could be very enjoyable in a Witcher game. It is too bad that it was scrapped from Witcher 3 in an early stage, as the Forktail in Kaer Morhen was supposed to be a Manticore at some point early in development. I could go over all the details from what was supposed to be from the leaked files, but it would just be boring, so I'm not going to do that. Most of the attacks it was supposed to have had were pretty obvious, if you see how one of these beasts looks like. Manticores are in my opinion a must-have for a future Witcher game. CD Projekt Red is most likely aware of how badly most people want this monster, and I have a feeling that the chances will be pretty big for it to be an enemy in a future game. And if they are not, well then I expect comments in about 5 years talking about how wrong I was. Manticores are interesting beasts, but not the only interesting thing in The Witcher. You can click on the screen now to see other videos that are also Witcher related. If you are new and like the video, a like would be appreciated, as well as a subscription if you want to see more Witcher lore videos. If you have any requests, I would like to read them in the comments. Till next video. Bye.